Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live, and today is our Tuesday CSS critique day, but we'll also take some questions. But before we do, I will just talk about a few things as you guys hop on. Uh, my favorite swim workouts. So I've had several swim workouts over the years that I've really enjoyed. Um, And I would have to say my most recent creations with the 50/50, I think I enjoy it more, not only doing it myself, but also as a coach, um, just because I see such good progress with it. And I have two of them. And in the description, I put links to them. So if you're not familiar with what the 50/50 is, it is a 50-meter swim going freestyle, followed by a 50-meter swim or yards going CSS. And the goal is to get really winded on that freestyle, maybe even skip breathe or sprint it, a lot of flutter kicks, just get really tired. And then try to catch your breath with the CSS. Then the next set, it's a really minimum rest before you do it again. And eventually that rest should turn into almost just a couple of breaths, go again, if that's possible. Another way to rest is by treading water. That's another skill that should not be neglected in this journey. And I would highly recommend it because a lot of people neglect treading and it can end your spec ops dreams pretty quickly. So, the other one I have is the Air Force version, which I also put the link in the description of this video. And the Air Force version is a little different because if you're familiar with the way the Air Force IFT works, formerly known as the PASS, the IFT is the initial fitness test for the Air Force Special Warfare guys, is you have to swim last versus swim first. I think you have like pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, mile and a half, and then you have the 500-meter swim. But before you do the 500-meter swim, you got to do two 25-meter underwater swims. So the Air Force Special Warfare 50/50 looks a little different. You're going to swim a 25-meter underwater, and obviously you don't want to do this alone for many reasons. It's chances are you're not going to pass out after 25 meters, but you do multiple sets of them, it's possible. So make sure you don't do this alone. People pass out underwater and don't live when they do that. So seriously, take that very seriously when I say don't practice this alone. After you do the 25-meter underwater, you do a 25-meter freestyle hard, like you're doing like a skip breathing freestyle. And then you do a 50 freestyle, nice and easy, and try to catch your breath during that easy freestyle. You can mix in some CSS if you want to, but the goal is to get good at these 25-meter underwaters followed by an easy 25-meter freestyle, because you have to do that on like a minute and a half interval. So you have 25-meter freestyle or underwater, 25-meter freestyle, come back, and it can be CSS too if you want it, but just got to catch your breath and get ready to do that again. Another option I've been working with folks is actually using an elementary side stroke for that easy comeback after the 25-meter underwater. And that elementary side stroke, you can just keep your face out of the water the whole time, and with very little effort, get across the pool, catch your breath, on a normal breathing pattern, and get ready to do it again every minute and a half. So give that a shot. You'll see the description in it, in the details in the description. And those are my two favorite right now. Now, I also like the freestyle, skip breathing / hypoxic swimming. Make a ladder out of it. So 2 strokes per breath for 100, 4 strokes per breath for 100, 6, 8, 10. See if you can get to 12, come back down, get yourself, almost 1,000 yards of swimming that way. Pretty fun. I like that one. I tend to do that one on upper body days. And then on lower body days, just swim with fins. My favorite swim workout with fins right now is a combo between swimming with fins for a certain distance and then turtlebacking for your rest. So if I'm in open water, I'll swim for a couple of minutes, CSS or freestyle, and then I'll get on my back and just, called turtlebacking. You just constantly flutter kick. Good way to work the legs, but it's also a good way to catch your breath. And you will be doing turtlebacking in your future in these jobs, especially if you have a dragger on your chest. That's why they call it turtlebacking, because you got your scuba rig right here. You're on your back and you're just flutter kicking, sometimes for a couple of miles before you actually start scuba diving. So there you go. There's some practical applications to it as well. All right. So we got a few questions before we show some videos. So let's see what's going on. Thanks, Alex. Candidate with shoulders as a weakness. What shoulder strength and endurance numbers would you recommend for boats and logs? It doesn't matter what your weaknesses are, your height, weight, or sex is. It's the same standard. I would recommend the same numbers for everybody. So I'm not really sure what you're saying. Shoulder strength and endurance numbers. I mean, my advice is this. You should do a workout that I call the Sam Baby Devil Murph. And let's see. Let me see if I have my article on this. This is a fun one, and a challenging one. So, because it's push presses with a 40, 50-pound sandbag. It's bear crawls. It's chest carry lunges. It's fireman carry. It's squats with a sandbag on your shoulder. It's sit-ups, chest carry. It's 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups. And it's a run. But yeah, check this out. And this is what we do. We do something very similar to this. Sometimes we make it a little harder even. I just put it in the comment section. This is a standard. And then if you go to the assessment site or article, just type in physical assessment to get to and through selection. And it's an article I wrote with there's a podcast in there that Jeff Nichols and I did. And then there's this assessment tool. Pull-ups, 20. Push-ups, 80 to 100. Trying to find all the shoulder activities. I mean, you got to swim. That's going to be a shoulder activity, 8 minutes. Weighted pull-ups, 25 pounds, double digits. 15 plus is even better. Bench press, body weight bench press, 10 to 15. Hang clean, 0.75 to 1.0 body weight, 5 to 10 reps. Grip test. You can hang from a pull-up bar for a minute or farmer walk 400 meters without having to drop the 50-pound dumbbells. Sam Baby Devil Murph. Those are other workouts that you can do. But, as far as trying to find a different standard that you need to be at, depending upon your athletic history or injuries or sex, is not happening. There's one standard. This is where you need to be. Good morning, Stu. Did 25 yards in 27 seconds. At the end of the pool workout, felt like my heart rate was 150s, 160s. How much effort should a goal pace CSS swim feel like? Well, I mean, after 25 yards, you shouldn't even be breathing hard, right? If you're in swimming shape. If you're not in swimming shape, 25 yards is a chore. So I'm not sure. Okay, so you're saying at the end of a pool workout. Got it. 27 seconds is a little slow. I mean, it's not horrible. Probably going to put you at a 9-minute CSS swim for 500. 150s, 160s isn't horrible, but it could be lower. But there's nothing wrong with putting out for a swim workout and making it hard either. So, I don't really go by that much. I just look at my time, and if I'm slow, I try to go faster, right? And if I can't do a 500-yard swim at the same pace for 500 yards every lap, then I realize there is something wrong with my conditioning, regardless of where my heart rate is. But there are some people that can do a 500 yards in 820 and be at a 125, 130. So it really depends on your conditioning as to where your heart rate is going to be. Now, I've seen some guys get through the swim, they're probably 170, 180. So it really comes down to how much effort you can put into it and still have juice left or fuel left to do the rest of the PST. My personal preference is to do that swim part of the PST with as little effort as possible, but as fast as possible. Because I personally put a lot of effort into the pull-up, push-up, sit-ups and the 1.5 mile run versus the easy technique and pacing that the swim can be. Now, I used to not be that way, but I've become a better swimmer throughout the years. And now I can do an easy pace of 820, on an easy day, pretty regularly without being tired at the end. Now, I will say this, if I tried to push a 730, yeah, I'm going to be in the 150s, 60s, maybe even higher. So really kind of depends on your goals there. Opinions on using chalk. I know you should work your grip, but does using chalk completely negate that when it comes to pull-ups and deadlifts? About the only time I use chalk is if I'm sweating. And if I don't have chalk when I'm sweating, I use dirt, right? I've even used, got my hands dried off on the outside of a car tire, right? It just, had black stuff all over my hands, and that helped. So, I tend to do it only when I'm sweating. And in the winter, I rarely use chalk because I'm not sweating as much. Hey, Stu, probably a dumb question, but what are your thoughts on Zen 8 indoor swim trainers? Trying to supplement my time in the pool as well. Thanks. Apologies. If it was a dumb question. No, this is not a dumb question. I just don't know what you're talking about. Zen 8 swim trainer. Well, I just Googled it. Oh, yeah. If you don't have a pool, I don't have a problem with that. Zen 8, or there's another one, Vasa trainer. I think it's the Vasa swim trainer. Also one. Yeah. If you don't have a pool, do it. I think makes a lot of sense. When your plan says 1,000 meter with fins, do you recommend doing CSS or using kickboard to work on kick strength, or a mix of both? That's kind of up to you. Usually I have some kind of warm up done before that 1,000 meter with fins. Personally, I would say if you're going to do kickboard stuff, do it as a warm-up part of the drill. Like instead of treading, do kickboard drills. Or you can just vertically swim and just kick, because that's basically what your treading is. Also, what I would recommend is the reason why I have that 1,000 meter in there is it's a good distance to figure out your pace, because that 1,000's going to have to turn into a 4,000, not meters, but yards, in order to hit a 2 nautical mile swim. So you want that 1,000 yards specifically to be somewhere in that 16-17 minute range, no slower than that, because when you string it out and you add open water to it, you're going to add some time to it. So if you're somewhere between, let's say 16 minutes, that's a 32-minute 2,000. That's a 64-minute 4,000, if you can maintain that pace for an hour. And given open water currents and not swimming straight, you probably add about another 5 minutes to it. So now you're flirting with 70 minutes. Nothing wrong with that. With that time, I personally like to be in the 60s on those 2 mile ocean swims. However, you have until 85 minutes to fail that test in first phase. You don't want to be flirting with failure. So, I try to get people at least 10 minutes under that, especially if all they have is a swimming pool to train in, because that open water does add a couple of different elements that can lengthen your best 4,000 yard time. So I use that 1,000 as a marker to say, all right, so if you could just hold this pace for 3 more thousand, you have the ability to hit a 65-minute 2 mile ocean swim, which I think is a good standard to set. It does get faster every phase. So third phase, you have to swim it in 75. You do get better at swimming straight by that time, but it's still something that you want to be able to play around with and be in that sub 70 category. It's just gonna put you in the top 10 swim pairs typically, and you get out of the water earlier, you get to dry off, you get to start eating while everybody's coming out of the water, and the losers get hammered. You watch those guys, it pays to be a winner. That's what it means. And those guys are going to be late to the next evolution, so you got to get all their stuff ready and help them get dressed and all that stuff, while they don't have the opportunity to clean up and to hydrate and to eat well. They're just jamming it all in. So it does pay to be fast on those swims. It's a good time to catch your breath. When you're sharing your screen today, please don't forget about the pics when you were a SEAL. I was so excited yesterday when you mentioned them. Okay. All right, we'll start there. Let's see. I got a few here. Well, I tell you what, I got my video already pulled up. So let me get rid of that. Got my video pulled up here. So we're going to go there first. And we're going to talk about this CSS. So we got a good kick off the wall. Kicking off the wall and decent pull out. It's a little bit too much like a jumping jack, if you ask me. I like to think more like a muscle up, grab water this way, pull it and push it down. But, just Google breaststroke pull out and you'll get a little better with it. All right, so if you notice what he's doing here, it's more of a breaststroke with a freestyle breath. And what I like to do with this, well, first of all right, so there's a lot of things going wrong here. So we got a top arm, and he should be turning his head with that top arm. He's turning his head and popping his head up with the bottom arm and breathing all at once. So you can reduce doing 3 things at once by just splitting up 2 and 2. So top arm turn, should be turning your head with that top arm. Your face should be out of the water now, right now, okay? And then you breathe with the bottom arm. And then unfortunately, this right here, this arm recovery, just like putting on the brakes. I mean, watch how far away from his body they are, right? I mean, this is not a streamlined arm recovery. Not a bad position when he's in the streamlined body position, but he's also not in there long enough either. This is a good, good glide position for his arms. One hand on top of the other, biceps on his ears, head down. That's pretty good. However, he just stays there for like half a second, and then he starts the next stroke. So one Mississippi, two. Yeah, I can't even say it. So overall, he's okay. He's got a good breaststroke kick. If he wanted to continue with that, I would say it's not a bad deal. However, he's going to have to learn how to do a scissor kick whenever he puts on a pair of fins. He's just got to work on the timing. Pretty much top arm turn, bottom arm breathe. That's what I need you to remember. In fact, you can remember that by TTBB. Top arm turn, bottom arm inhale, bottom arm breathe. All right. So not bad. Let's see what I have here. I got a whole bunch of pictures sitting in my inbox or download folder. I know they're in here somewhere. So have you guys ever seen this? This is kind of fun. I'm gonna play this. What the hell? I'll talk you guys through this. This is kind of a fun one to do. All right. So I want you guys to check this out. So I was on a TV show. We talked about this yesterday. I was on a TV show called Fight Science. And you can't really hear what's going on, but they're timing me through this little, to be honest with you, kind of a lame obstacle course. A guy hiding behind a barrel or something. I had to pick out if he's good or bad. There's the bad guy with a gun. Had to shoot him. All right, so he's down. So we did a little baseline test there, see what the time was. Then they're going to put me in this ice bath, and I actually stayed in here for like, I don't know, 45 minutes, I think, maybe longer. And they wanted me to stay. Some Stanford scientists were here doing this one, and they wanted me to stay, like, be able to, like, just under my nipples, and they were going to infrared me and just show the difference between my body and my core. And you can kind of see the infrared picture out there. They're just constantly putting in these ice baths. That's my buddy Dave up there. And they're, it's a good show. It's a good little Fight Science. If you Google Fight Science, Stu Smith, you could probably find this one here. And it's just talking about, there you go. That's what they do. They're infrared. I'm pretty chilly at this point. It's been like 45 minutes, and you can see my hands are cold. There was before, there's after. So I'm pretty chilly. I'm pretty stressed out right now. Even my face is cold. And then I hop out, do this thing, put me in a stress, really shaking uncontrollably. I do the get ready to do this thing. And I think I was like a second slower, but I was more accurate in my shot. And this is pretty funny. This is a pretty funny scene right here. And he's way back there. He's not there. He's out there. He's hiding in the back. Boom. 2 shots. Where'd I hit him? And this SWAT guy got really excited. Where'd I hit him? Hit him right in the face. And his hand. His hand was in front of his face. So hit him right there. That was a lot of fun. So every now and then I find these little, this is funny. This is good acting here. A paintball does not do that to you. Or a simunition round. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. All right. Let me see if I can find that Bud's picture. I apologize. I forgot to pull these up. Oh, here it is. So this is my bud's graduation picture. All right. This looks kind of funny. You guys are going to laugh at this one. We decided to go up to a lifeguard stand and just see. So this is all of us. It's like 28 of us. And this is that paddle you see on the far. My right, I guess your left, is our class paddle. But anyway, I am right here. This is me right here. So you can kind of see me. That was me at 23 years old. So that was 31 years ago. How up is that? Where'd that time go? So there you go. So how was that? You guys like that one? That was kind of fun. Let's see. Also, do you have a P.O. box where we can send appreciation letters packages? Yes. In fact, I'll put my address in here. Stu Smith, Fitness, P.O. Box 122, Severna Park, MD 21146. That is where you can send stuff. But thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. That's not necessary. But I always appreciate feedback letters. Let's see, Tom. When taking the initial PST, do proctors care if you swim on one side or the whole 500? Or do they make you switch sides? I would assuming that's what you're saying. It depends. You know, I've taken some PSTs where the instructor, and I've seen PSTs given where the instructor says, all right, everybody has to face me. And I'm on the side of the pool the entire time. So that means you swim down on one way and you swim on the other side coming back. So every length is a change of sides. Now that is not a written description of how to do it. You don't, there's no rule saying you have to stay on the same side or switch sides every length. It is just like, if you want to switch sides, switch sides. At one point I had a little strategy where I would go pretty hard, 250 in, get my 50% pace done. Then I'd kind of go to my weak side just for like 50 or 100. And then I would change it up and, you know, hit it on the back end. I realized that probably wasn't a necessary strategy. And I just wound up learning my pace and maintain my pace for the entire thing. So if I wanted an 820, I swam every lap at 50 seconds. 100 yards, 100 seconds. 300 yards, 5 minutes. 300 yards and 300 seconds is 5 minutes. So what I like to do is once people are like crushing the 50-50 workout, is I take them to the 5 sets of 300 workout, which is a really good workout. And you do 5 minutes of swimming and see if you can get more than 300 yards in those 5 minutes. Or do 300 yards and see if you can get it in under 5 minutes. Either way. And then you take a minute or two to catch your breath, treading water, maybe some bottom bounces, and you do it again for, 5 rounds. Let's see. I think I have a couple of more team guy pictures in here. Or you know what? I think I got it up on the wall. Hang on a second. So this one's a cool one. This was us doing it wasn't SQT, it's called AOT, like Advanced Operator Training, for a scuba thing. That's kind of a bad picture. Too much glare. There you go. I'm down in the middle on the knee. So that's a bunch of good old buddies there. So that was a fun one. Might have that one on somewhere in here, but not 100% sure. Let me see if I have any more. I do not. Though I will say this. This is one of my favorites. I am blessed with an opportunity to train young high school kids every year at the Naval Academy. And I lead about 800 of them in a group PT session every summer. And it's called Summer Seminar. All these kids are doing running around in a big circle. I took a little breather, and we're about to do some push-ups here. But this is me, and I've been doing this for over 20 years now. So I started doing this when I was 20. It was more than 20, almost 25 years. So I started doing this when I was like 28 years old, as leading like a SEAL PT for a bunch of high school kids on their trying to get into the Naval Academy. A lot of fun there. So I got a couple of them double flexing. That was cool. But that's an old picture of me. When I say old picture, me being old, that was me like last year, I think, working out with a bunch of high school kids. And I take that pretty seriously, because here's why. A lot of people have never worked out with, doing a military style workout. And when I am their first introduction to a military style workout, I like to make it special, not punitive or yes, it probably will be painful, especially if you weren't ready for it. We do this thing called the death by push-ups, especially now that the Navy fitness test is push-ups, plank, and a 1.5 mile run. We'll do a 10-minute plank, and every minute on the minute, you do 10 push-ups. And for those that can't do 10 push-ups, they can do knee push-ups, or they can do, I can make it a pyramid. So every minute that we're on, that's the number of push-ups you do. So you start off with 1, then you go to 2, then you go to 3, or you can start at 10 and back it down to 1, whatever. But anyway, we're in a plank for 10 minutes, or a up push-up position. And every minute on the minute you do push-ups. So try the death by push-up workout. It's a fun 10-minute challenge. It takes you to a level of mental toughness that I was not expecting. And it's I can't say it's a crowd favorite, but they definitely talk about it when it's done. So it's that kind of fun. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Oh, thank you. Let's do another CSS since I have them up here ready to go. Not sure what this one is. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Okay, so share a screen, window, this guy. All right, so you guys can see this. We're gonna kick off the wall. Not bad. He can keep his legs a little closer together. See how his legs are a little far. I like to touch my ankles, or one thing I do is I put like one foot on top of the other, and then just kind of relax my ankles and let them kind of point like a ballerina point, and just makes it really a streamlined process. This right here, not that it's horrible, it's not helping. And then the wider they go, they don't help very much. Now I will say this right here, like notice this breaststroke pullout or attempt at it. That little jumping jack there, and then all this right here is just surface tension. And notice what happened after he pulled. He didn't glide like a whole body length like typical breaststroke pullouts do. He just stopped. So he pulled his arms and just stopped. Now, at the end of this 25, if I saw this guy swimming, I would say, okay, get out of the pool, you fail, because of this one thing right here. You see that? See that high elbow coming out of the water, his whole hand coming out of the water? That is a freestyle arm recovery, or a crawl stroke arm recovery. And it is no longer a breaststroke, or I'm sorry, an underwater recovery stroke, which is really the main rule. If there's a rule for this 500-yard swim in the Navy, you have to do a underwater recovery stroke. It's the rules. I don't make them up, but it's a rule. So this right here is illegal. When I say illegal, it's just not acceptable. But let's take a look at it. What's other problems he has? He pops his head up. He holds a glide, but he's like this weird little kick. Like he's got this dolphin kick that's not doing anything. Notice when he kicks, he just bends his knees and doesn't go anywhere. Right? I think that's a waste of energy. I'd say take it out. And really, technically, you're only allowed one kick per stroke. So pull, breathe, kick, glide does not mean pull, breathe, kick, kick, glide. So top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Yeah, pops his head up, arm pull, messed up. And, you know, when you pop your head up, your feet drop. And then he does get his feet back up with that little dolphin kick. But if he just kept his head down, he wouldn't have to use that dolphin kick to get his feet back up. So this is what not to do. 100% what not to do. All right. We got any more questions over here? Let's see. What would be a competitive time for swimming 500 meters using freestyle? Well, it depends. I mean, put it this way. If you're a competitive swimmer, those guys swim 500 meters really fast, like sub-6, easy. In fact, most competitive swimmers can swim at 800-meter swim in what most of the non-swimming athletes that are going into Navy SEAL programs can do 500 in. So let that sink in for a minute. They are lapping you multiple times in an amount of the same time. They're swimming 800 where you're swimming 500. And that would be freestyle. So, you know, I personally, I try to keep my freestyle a little bit faster than my CSS. And it took some time to get there because I wasn't very good at freestyle. I was better at CSS for a while, especially before and after BUDS for say 5-10 years. But over the years, I started practicing freestyle, learning the freestyle catch, and it became faster. And next thing I know, I'm a little bit faster in freestyle than I was the CSS. So, I mean, hitting a 730, 500 freestyle is really good. I would say that would be highly competitive. However, if you can do 8 minute 500 meter, I'd say that's above average competitive level. So, and like I said, these are non-swimming athlete times, which are still well above average for a Navy or Air Force 500-yard, 500-meter swim. Let's see. What's good goal pace from someone who has still not gotten good at the CSS? You know, it's a good point. So take whatever you are right now. So swim a 500. Let's say you get 10 minutes. So that would tell me you're swimming probably around a 60-second 50, right? If you're going to get 10 minutes, you're swimming a 60-second 50. So now I would say make your next goal pace be 55-second 50 and work at that to get to that 9-minute, 9:10 mark. Because if you can get it down to 54 times 10, you got yourself a 9-minute swim. And then once you get that, then you go down to the 50-second 50 and you got yourself an 8:20, maybe even flirting with 8 flat or sub 8, you know, if you get in shape to be able to do that. So that is how I would do it. And it's not much different than the way I would do an 8-minute mile runner trying to get down to a 7-minute mile, and a 7-minute mile runner trying to get to a 6-minute mile. You know, that is how you progress. I think it's a really bad idea to be, you know, swimming a 12-minute 500 and then make your goal pace be, you know, an 8-minute 500. So stair step it down. I'm sure that makes sense. All right, let's see. I do have another CSS we can watch. Let's see what we got here. I think this is the one I have not done. Okay, so it looks like we got a little dolphin kick going into here. And I would say probably could have glided off the wall a little bit more before we added that dolphin kick, because you can probably get a good 5 yards off the wall. That's pretty good. Oh, here's what's not good, though. Just do 1. 3 dolphin kicks is, I mean, look how much effort you just spent to go really nowhere. 1, 2, 3. If you just hold the glide, you probably get that far. And that's a long time to be underwater every length. I mean, let's do the math here, or just count the clock. Head needs to be down. That arm needs to be a little tighter on the recovery. See how far your elbows are away from your torso. You know, keep those things tight. You should be rubbing your hands all the way up your torso. But if you were to do this, you're looking at, for your first breath, that's 8 seconds before you come up for your first breath. It might not sound like much, but it is. Go 300 yards into this, and I promise you, you won't be doing 3 dolphin kicks and a pullout because you'll be tired. You'll be skipping all of that because you want to come up to breathe. And I think one thing too here, if you notice, he's just got a weird angle to his body. Like he is really like taking his head deep. Then you got to bring it all the way back up. And what you just did there, if you think about it geometrically, is you just went down and now you're coming up. You just added distance to what could have been a straight line. So you just added distance in a pool that is 25 yards, but you just added, I don't know, you could do the math if you wanted to do Pythagorean theorem and figure it out. But yeah, though it's probably not a right angle, so probably wouldn't matter. So we got top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold that glide. Now this part's not bad. I beat him up on his kicks off the wall and that transition. I would seriously watch more breaststroke pullout videos because your stroke's pretty good. Your transition off the wall into the stroke needs some help. But with all those dolphin kicks and the weird angle that you were doing, that could all be better. But this isn't bad. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see how you did. Yeah, so one of these is the strong side. One is the weak side. Which one's which, I wonder? The good news is I can't tell. This one might be the strong side, just because it looks a little more powerful with that right arm. Maybe you're right-handed. But coming back is not horrible either when you're doing it with your left arm. Yeah, I would say this is the weak side. But as far as the technique of your strong and weak side, both looks really good. I just think your strong side's stronger, which makes sense. All right. So we got any more questions over here? Let's see. What else do I have here? Here's another year. Doing some high school workout at the Naval Academy. Doing a lot of jumping jacks. When you got a field of 800 people and no equipment, you're doing jumping jacks, push-ups, squats, lunges, and running like in a big circle. So basically the way we run on this, we call it round trips, where it's almost like swimming a lap in a swimming pool with a bunch of other people. You just swim in a little circle straddling one of those lines. It's a good little workout. And then, of course, we got plank, death by push-ups, classic. But these are some great little early morning PT pictures I just love doing. Like I said, I take it seriously, the folks that I I work out with for the first time. So I want that introduction to be fun, but also educational as well. All right. Well, I guess that's all the videos I have for today. If you want more videos, you can definitely check out my TikTok page. And if you don't like the TikTok app, hey, I get it. Just go over to my Reels on Instagram, and they're all over there. Probably have a good 100 of them on this YouTube channel as well. They're just older, but they're still effective learning tools. Let's see. So I may cut it short if I don't see any more questions. I will say this: if I did miss your question, though, you can email it to me, stu@stewsmith.com. Check out stewsmithfitness.com. And for all you guys that are sticking around for the live, I appreciate it. I always offer the live 2-0 and save 20% on books and ebooks over there. Books and ebooks like Marine Corps, Special Op Fitness, Seasonal, Tactical Fitness Periodization, our winter lift cycle. The good news is winter's halfway done. We got like 6 weeks, till spring? I'm excited. Maybe a little longer, but we're close. Calisthenics and cardio if you're looking for a good starting plan, but this has an intermediate and advanced plan too. I've had some guys that really sucked at the PST and used this for 12 weeks and had really good PSTs afterwards. This is one of my favorites. You'll find that Air Force 50-50 workout in this Air Force Special Warfare IFT, OFT workout. Army Ranger SF. This is one of my best sellers. In fact, my 2 best sellers. Did I ever tell you guys what my 2 best sellers were? I don't think I have it. Oh, I do. So these are my 2 best sellers. FBI, Army Special Forces. Go figure. Year after year, they beat it. Even the Navy SEAL Phase 1 workout. Oh, let's see. Are there any questions over here? Got any more? How much does a training session with so many people last? I think we're limited to like 45 minutes because they have a lot of stuff to do. So it's enough, but it's fun. Definitely fun. Let's see. What pants do you recommend when training and running portion for the Buds PST? If you can, try to get the military issue camis because that's what you're going to be wearing. I think they call them the nickname is guacs, like guacamole, because they're just green and can't remember what they're called now. Uniform changes have been crazy in the last decade. They went from blue went from woodland to digital to blue camis to it's just been a mess. So I would definitely get some of those and then wash them so many times. Get them soft because they come pretty well starched. It's kind of like buying those old school Levi's that were just like cardboard when you bought them, and then they turn into nice pants so you could even sleep in if you wanted to, but it took a lot of washes. Very similar. Let's see here. Going to give away a book. How about that? For you guys that have stuck around this long, I'm going to give away a book. And how did I hurt my lower back? Or how did I hurt my lower back just being sick, laid up in bed for 2 days? That happens. I'm thinking I'm just too stiff and need to make sure I move more. Yes. I call it rack back is what you have. Been laying in a rack for too long and your back hurts. Good news is you're right. It's just stiffness and, some warming up and some foam rolling and stretching is going to do the trick. So remember, motion is lotion. You will definitely feel better once you get moving. Yeah, it's rack back. How much would you suggest workout on a non-work day? Not sure what you're asking. Like on a day that you don't go to work is what I'm assuming. Um, I mean, if you have more time to train, by all means, you should do one of two things. Either rest fully or get after it, depending on how the other workouts have been done. So it really kind of depends on one, what you're training for. If you're training for a marathon, that'd be a great day to go do your 18-mile run whenever you reach that progression in a marathon. So, you can use it as multiple modes. You can be as a recovery mode. It can also be as a get after it mode. So Clayton's already knows the saying, send it to me. That's pretty funny. I will give a book out. Let me think. What's a good question to ask you guys with first answer? We're going to go trivia. I'm just going to rely on quick Google search. All right. It's a good one. All right. You guys ready for the question? First person to answer wins the book, and I'll give you your choice, which I'll even let you use the Navy SEAL fitness book. And I'll sign it too. So, all right. How about this for a question? And it's somewhat Maryland related. Okay. Who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Anybody? First person. Come on. By now, you probably Googled it, typed it in. I expected some quicker response. There you go, Thomas Jefferson. Okay, not it. All right, Michael Haggerty, you win. Linda, my buddy over there, she got it right too. So Tom, but none of you young guys got it. Maybe Michael did. All right, so Michael, here's how this works. First of all, tell me what book you want. At least of any of the ones that I have shown you this morning. And then email me, stu@stewsmith.com, what your address is, and I will mail it out today using this priority mail envelope, and you'll have it in a couple days. So let's do that. Tell me what book you want before you sign up, or you can tell me what book you want in the email. It doesn't matter. So I won't wait for your response on the show. You can just email me the book you want, and I'll send it to you. All right, folks. Well, that was fun. Any last questions? All right, stu@stewsmith.com. And just so you know, look at the little thing down here. stu@stewsmith.com is spelled STEW SMITH. Okay. All right. Well, I will make it happen. I'll get it to you. So, all right, here's last picture. All right. I should probably do this for like a throwback Thursday. This is me at 8 years old, right? Look at that. I had some hippie hair. This was like 1976, 77. Got my old mask on and playing Frogman in my pool. So that was fun. Went back in time there with you guys. I appreciate you indulging me on that journey. And I am also honored to be part of your journey, regardless of whatever that journey is, you know, especially if it's fitness related. So, all right, guys, until next time, I will see you guys next week. I will take some questions next week, and we will move on. But if you do have some ideas or some questions, just send me an email, stu@stewsmith.com. Check out stewsmithfitness.com. Tons of articles over there. Even if you're not going to buy a book, there's tons of articles over there and free workouts in that article section that you can pull from and really help yourself out. All right, folks. We'll see you. Have a good one.